Irish, Scotch, bourbon, Tennessee. Throughout the world, it is made in many different ways. But here at Belmont Farm Distillery, they've perfected something else entirely. Virginia whiskey. And it goes by the name Kopper Kettle. Today, with the help of a third-generation master distiller and a little American spirit, this age-old tradition has been rejuvenated.
Bourbon was actually invented here in Virginia. A fellow by the name of Elijah Craig. He was a preacher out of Orange County, just down the road here. And he had a warehouse over in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And he made barrels over there and sold them to the whiskey industry. But one day, the warehouse caught on fire, and some of the barrels got charred. But they went ahead and sold them and used them for whiskey anyway. And it turned out to be the whiskey was superior coming out of a charred barrel.
In the 1920s and 30s, the spirit industry was a thriving one, with prohibition in full effect. Alcohol was in increasingly high demand, and several people were eager to get in on the action. One of them was Theodore George Miller.
That's the only job he ever had. Never got caught.
Business was good, but being a moonshiner wasn't an easy job.
I did want to follow in Grandpa's footsteps. I wanted to make whiskey. But I didn't want to live the lifestyle that he had. I mean, he would come back from some deliveries with bullet holes in the window. I didn't think that was a good way to live and raise a family today.
But despite the hard and dangerous work, Chuck was determined to follow in his grandfather's footsteps.
By the time I was 12, I kind of figured out what he was doing. He had a lot of milk tanks, but only one milk cow. And then they put the whiskey inside a milk tank and soaked barrel staves in it. In a couple weeks' time, the whiskey would look like it was 4 years old. We are first craft distillery making whiskey in the United States. But I was missing the big pot still. Called the federal government, and I asked them, I said, now listen, you guys are busting them up all the time. Certainly you know where one is. Well, they did point this one out to me. Virginia whiskey, what we make here, Kopper Kettle, is very similar to a bourbon. We use the same recipe, 51% corn, the rest is wheat and barley, kind of like Grandpa did. We put it in a milk tank. We put the oak staves in there with it, let it soak, but we kind of put a little twist on it. And we mature the whiskey in both apple and oak. Now, all the wood does come from the state of Virginia here. And it sits in that milk tank, for like 2 months. But what we have to do different now than what Grandpa did, we actually have to put it in a barrel and let it age. We age it here now between 3 to 5 years. Every barrel and every bottle makes my personal approval.
With so much going on, it was a wonder Chuck ever had the time to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor. But when he finally did, he did it in his own special way.
You can drink it neat, and I like it that way when I'm having my cigar. It's a great taste. I just kind of sip on it. But if you really want to enjoy the full flavor, I like it over the rocks. It's really a nice whiskey, nice and smooth. Enjoy the unique flavor. But if you're the type of person who likes to mix it with soda or 7-Up, it mixes very well. I have a lot of fans. Everyone tells me the different ways to drink it, but I like it over the rocks the best.